Well, I'm Andre, and we are beauty benders.
I'm James.
All right, so what do you know about makeup?
Well, funny story.
This
About
is
eight,
gonna be alright.
about 8 months ago, I think, eight or 9 months ago, I was discovered at Westfield, St. Luke's, and then all of a sudden just embarked on this whirlwind journey of being a mature skin model. And my pores are insured for $50,000. People want to see real skin these days. What's
I
what's your
have
background?
been I've been picking up the same concealer at Sephora for about picking it up and putting it straight down for about 6 weeks straight. So
Okay,
is that without buying it?
that's a coronavirus hazard.
Should I do another one?
I like it. I get it. No, if you pick up enough concealers, you'll pick up makeup. Like you're literally picking up makeup by doing it. Like you'll pick
No,
it
I'm
up.
picking it up and I'm putting it down. It's like a one step forward, one step back situation. It's
Yeah,
a zero-sum game.
sure. I'm not good with maths, but
Let's talk about makeup.
what are we talking about today, Andre?
We're talking about men. Well, we're not talking about men. We're talking about makeup, but specifically in relation to men. We're talking about men's makeup.
Men's makeup.
You want to wear it, but you don't even want to know that you're wearing it.
No.
Yeah. You want to be the last person to know that you're wearing makeup.
Yeah.
If you're a man.
You want some
Real men don't do that.
man packaging that you like just shove your fist in or your finger and you just like, and then it's like,
Yeah, you wanna basically, if you're not applying it with the fist,
yeah,
like you're not doing it right.
or a steel brush, yeah, or a gun. Not a
If you're
wand.
not doing that, you're not a real man.
Wands are for bags.
Yeah, beauty blender? What the fuck is that thing?
No, I
Just use your sock.
use pumice.
Why did I want to talk about it? So, I was like on Instagram, and I was targeted by an ad. It was like a 20-step routine where he was applying all these products, and in the end of it, he just kind of looked like the same, basically.
Right.
He was using so he put down a foundation, sealer, and then he like baked. He did like an eyebrow. Then he did like a bronzer thing. Then he did a blush. He did a highlighter.
Yeah.
And he did like a little bit of an eye make. You couldn't see any of it. I mean, he looked like he was wearing makeup, but not much of it. But I'm
Yeah.
like on the up. So he was going for like perfection. He was going for like complexion, perfect skin,
Yeah.
and I'm like on the opposite spectrum of that. Like I don't care how many zits I have on my face as long as I'm like have an eye on.
Exactly. Like in the little bit of research that I've done, all of the products look like a dry husk of something that like has no pigment, like no coverage. The goal generally seems to be that they don't want people to know that they have anything on.
Everything I've seen online as well, it seems that doesn't seem to be a lot of bang for your buck. And I think maybe it's like a restraint, which
Yeah.
is necessary in some cases.
Mm.
Personally, I really don't care what my skin looks like if I don't have a glam kind of eye on or a lip on, you know?
Yeah. That's why I'm like, guys, don't feel like you need to buy makeup because your skin's bad or you're lacking self-confidence. Like that's not what makeup should be for. Like I just see it as like pure self-expression, fashion, fun. So the idea of leaving the house with just like perfect skin and like nobody will notice is kind of like meh.
I completely agree. I mean, like I've read a lot of comments online, or like basically a couple of brands claim that, you know, they're helping men's self-esteem by providing them with these products. Well, if that's so, that's great. If they're helping someone blossom. So I wanted to talk specifically about makeup brands that do that. Warpaint. I mean, I've known about them for a while now. They've had a lot of backlash online.
Yeah.
About their name specifically, not just being about a makeup brand that caters specifically to men. Have you heard of them? Do you know of them?
I mean, it's a familiar name, or I've read an article somewhere and it talks about them. It's definitely familiar. Never looked into it.
Well, their whole thing is, I mean, they're claiming that they're disrupting the industry.
I'm trying to do like a very visible like eye roll.
First of all, let's not be biased going into this research.
Okay.
Let's come out biased at the So they have a few products. I feel like they've got like your basic like foundation kind of thing, concealer, maybe tinted moisturizer. But
Okay.
obviously the most interesting thing is their name, War
Yeah.
Paint. How do you feel about War Paint as a makeup name?
It's definitely not appealing to me. And it's like the things that I read, it's mostly about men that want to go into like their meeting feeling like the most, oh, sorry, the sounds really bad.
I think it's just your voice.
Like the most confident version of themselves going into a meeting, you know, like they're wearing their war paint.
I mean, it's bizarre. And like I've kind of went through the frequently asked questions, and there's an Instagram story called Let's Talk. I think the whole thing is about like kind of getting rid of the stigma around makeup for men. And I mean, they're addressing the whole problem of makeup evoking gender symbolism, which I personally would to get rid of. But they're going about it in a really funny way by using a name that props up the whole structure that is the problem.
But it's also not addressing that because it's trying to make men look like they're not actually wearing any makeup. And also by preying on people's self-confidence and making them feel like they need to wear something because they're not good enough as they are. So it's pretty much like all of the worst flip sides of the conversation amplified.
Yeah, it's like they've put on their like problem-solving hat and they've kind of identified the problem, but then they were like, oh, are we gonna just like use men's insecurity to like sell them more makeup, or are we gonna like move this conversation forward and actually create something interesting? Exactly. And I think they went with the
Then they're not interested in moving the conversation forward. They're interested in moving products.
I mean, it's impossible to talk about this kind of stuff without addressing the inequality between the gender roles kind of thing and what's expected, and the imbalance of power, which is the most important thing. And there's something about seeing men wearing like feminine articles like makeup or clothing or whatever that manifests that loss of symbolic power, and it's quite confronting and scary for them to be living in this like power disbalance called the patriarchy. I can't wait for the days where makeup is just going to be associated with style only, and is not going to evoke this like gender symbolism.
What brands do you think are moving that conversation?
I mean, there's a lot of brands that have used either gender non-conforming people in their campaigns or men in their campaigns with makeup on. And I'm not talking about like a little concealer on. I'm talking about like a bright lip and like an eye. The one that's immediately jumps to mind is Tom Ford. It's that lipstick campaign, the boys and girls one. Again, it's like boys. I mean, it's called boys and girls. It's like it doesn't get much more binary than that. But there's something about it that it feels a little bit more progressive. It has much more relationship to style than gender.
It's kind of like any conversation around diversity or anything like that. There's always going to be a kind of form of tokenism or like clunky first steps, and you just kind of need to look past them. And that Tom Ford campaign, okay, it's not quite right, but still it's like they're actually targeting people like us.
Have you ever seen like a good men's beauty tutorials?
Yeah, I very, very early on, I watched some British guy do a tutorial, and it was like, it's like really boring. Like,
it's so boring. It's so like what is the attraction of? Actually, that brings us to another point: the logistics of buying makeup and how a lot of brands for men use like a very discreet kind of packaging, usually disguised as something else.
Didn't we see one like men's makeup thing that was actually made from like the same material as car engines? Is your ego that fragile that you have to be like, I don't know. Oh, it's made out of a car? Okay, yes, sweet.
All of those brands sell their products under this like motivation of practicality, right? So it's like, got a blemish, hide it. You've got dull skill, like make it pop, whatever. None of it has anything to do with the fact that men actually might like applying shit to their face. Like, I love smearing lipstick on my lips.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why do I
Yeah.
have to like make it productive?
Sorry.
I mean, I guess that kind of ties into the whole fun thing and having products that are fun. There are people out there who just love fucking putting makeup on. And
Yeah.
these brands are doing nothing to cater to that. They're hiding the fact that it's makeup. That's what I want. I want makeup, you know, and I'm also not concerned about it being called fucking war paint. I just sometimes I just want to throw a little glitter in a corner.
So I read something that I think kind of describes what you're talking about. And it's like, this article said that companies could make twice as much money selling to men, but gender ideology beats commercialism, which is so weird.
Yeah, you're right. It actually is really weird. And it does feel like we're kind of on the cusp of that conversation unfolding as well. There's definitely a lot to be said on things like, well, first of all, patriarchy, of course, and its relationship to capitalism, which is kind of what you've brought up with the gender ideology. So that's kind of like a really big conversation that I feel like we as a whole are going to have to address at some point. But then
yeah, there's some we have to revisit this, but like if we can like just dismantle a little bit of like this toxic masculinity and just unravel this conversation a little bit more, then it will be such a good thing. Like,
right, well, I gotta go pump some iron. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye, Andre. I've just got thick foot skin over my whole body. I'm just like 90% callous.